Qualitative and affordable education for all is a prerequisite for any society in a hurry to attain sustainable development. Little wonder most educationists in Abia and beyond prescribe sound education as a tool for liberating Abians from the shackles of ignorance, poverty, and underdevelopment. It was against this background that the present Executive Governor of Abia State, Chief T.A. Ochendo, in his acceptance speech after his swearing in 2007, promised Abians to tackle headlong the myriads of problems besieging the education industry in the state. Some stakeholders in the education sector recall some of these problems, militating against provision of sound education for Abians at primary, secondary, and tertiary levels.
In 2007, when the executive governor was sworn in as executive governor of Abia State, there was a lot of decay in the educational system. Firstly, infrastructure in schools were lacking. There were dilapidated classrooms all over the state. And even some children sat on bare floor to study. And some even sat under the foot of trees to study. At that time, there was hardly any good inspection of schools because of lack of mobility. There were no vehicles to enable supervisors of schools go into the schools and carry out inspection. The morale of teachers was not strong or adequate, to use that language. They were demoralized. There were certain incentives that they needed to have, which they did not have.
The situation on ground before the present governor, T.A. Ochendo, was sworn in, was that we lack most of the materials needed, more especially infrastructure in terms of building. Initially, all the structures here were of wooden structures. But I thank God, that time it was horrible.
How did this sound administrator, technocrat, and lover of education, His Excellency Governor T.A. Orji, perceive the huge challenges facing the education industry on assumption of office in 2007? What policies and programs did his administration enunciate towards fulfilling his education promises to turn around the education sector?
You know that education is very important to our people. The people of Abia State value educating their children. And it is education that has brought us here today. When I came on board, what I had in mind about education is to improve the standard that I met, first and foremost. Sustain the standard and improve it. Because that's the aim of every government, that you have to improve on what you met. You don't have to degenerate. So what we did was we sustained the free education system that we had. You know, there's free education from primary to secondary school level. We did that, and we're still doing it. We now increase the subventions that we used to give to the tertiary institutions like Abia State University. We increased subvention of Abia State University from 90 million or so that I made to 140 million to make sure that education is improved, that the standard of education is improved in Abia State University. The same also with the other tertiary institutions. Then, there was constant training and retraining of teachers, especially at the secondary and primary school levels. And when you look around, you see that the structures in the secondary schools and primary schools are dilapidated. They are rotten. So what we did was to embark on an aggressive rebuilding and renovation of these schools to ensure that our children don't study under the trees, that they study under a very, very conducive environment. These were the steps we took just to make sure that the standard of education here is maintained and improved upon.
It is refreshing that Governor T.A. Orji swung into action to transform the Abia State education landscape from day one of his administration by mobilizing government agencies and institutions saddled with various duties in the education sector. For instance, the Chief T.A. Orji administration overhauled the education industry by placing square pegs in square holes, exercised great political will to return mission schools to their original owners to strengthen the moral tone of our future generation and eliminate cultism and indiscipline.
Gotten this policy right now of trying to give back schools to their original owners, especially the missionaries, so that we can have less schools in our hands to cater for, and the missionaries can now take care of their own schools where they will improve on discipline especially, and also on the quality of education rendered. So when you have this division of labor, I believe that it will be good for us. It will be good for Abia State. Education is our primary concern. It's the major industry we have in Abia State. And because we value education, like I said, and because parents are eager to send their children to school, every governor that comes tries to achieve this, to make sure that the objectives of parents are achieved in the education sector.
Massive provision of instructional materials, making available tools for effective supervision of both private and public schools, as well as massive rehabilitation of dilapidated school buildings, construction and equipping of new libraries, setting up computer workshops, and construction of new classroom blocks at primary and secondary schools. In a nutshell, Governor T.A. Orji's administration provided modern tools and ensured conducive environment, as well as gave good policy direction for qualitative teaching and learning, including improving the welfare of teachers by paying their teachers' salary scale and provision of free bus services for pupils and students.
We introduced the free bus system, where our children have to be taken to school free of charge in our bus. Buses procured by government, specifically assigned for this job of taking children from their home to their school and bringing them back at the end of the day. That we did successfully, and we are still doing that. We now revitalize the scholarship board and the loan scheme that were moribund.
The tertiary institutions were not left out. He has improved infrastructural facilities, welfare of teachers and lecturers, and granted scholarships to deserving Abians.
My visions have been translated, and I can give you instances of that. If you take a look at the results that normally come out during WAEC, you see that students of Abia State do very well. They excel. If you also look at the performance of graduates of Abia State University who, like in law, who go to law school to do their law program, you see also that they do very well wherever they go, including the medical students. Wherever they go, Abia students have always excelled. That shows you the background that they have. In areas of scholarship also, those who are studying overseas, those who are in UK and US, we have consistently funded them, giving them money from the reserve that we have there so that they can pursue and graduate from the different universities where they are studying. So I think to a very large extent our vision has been achieved. Many awards have been coming, and some I take, some I reject. The students themselves are excited at what is happening. The teachers are excited at what is happening. Proprietors of education, schools, proprietors of schools in Abia State are excited at what is happening. If ASUBEB, the award ASUBEB received on the behalf of government. So we have, people have been commending us and offering us, awards.
Some operators of the Abia State education system capture Governor T.A. Orji's outstanding accomplishments in the education sector.
Firstly, in the area of infrastructure in schools, the governor has done marvelously well. From 2007 to 2008, intervened in the building of 270 classroom blocks scattered all over the 3 senatorial zones of Abia State. Some through his UBE intervention fund and some through the ETF intervention fund. There is no part of any of the senatorial zones you go in Abia State now, you don't see the presence of construction of classrooms, construction of toilet facilities for children. The governor, through his intervention activities, has helped us to build 3 modern libraries which can compare favorably with any such library anywhere. We have one of it at Abia North Senatorial Zone at Ohata Girls. In Abia Central, we have one at Ibeko High School. And in Abia South, we have one at Abai Girls. If you go there now, you see these modern libraries, well equipped, well stocked with books, reference books, reading books, novels, to enable children develop a habit of reading. We are developing another 6 modern libraries located in these areas. One at Uzuakali Girls for Abia North. That's one at what do you call it? Afara Technical School here for Abia Central, and we have one at Oza Secondary School in Abia South, and another 3 more are springing up now. So these libraries are being developed in very modern way and scattered in all the senatorial zones. In the same vein, we are developing ICT centers. Right away now, we are building 16 new computer classrooms scattered all over the state, 16 new ones. We intend to have 30 computer cells in each of the 16 classrooms. Some of them are being developed in Abia North, some in Abia Central, and some in Abia South. Very soon now, those computer classrooms will be in use to add to the ones we have already developed. Like if you go to girls secondary school here in Omaha, you will see a modern one there which we have developed, and the children are enjoying it. The same in Aba and some other places.
If you go into details, you will find that between 2007 and 2010, a number of libraries, school libraries, have been established by the governor I'm aware there's one in Alai. I'm aware that there's one in Abia. I'm aware there's one in Ibeku. These are modern libraries fully stocked with books. That is, people have been talking about this reading culture, reading culture, and so on. But that is just one example. Again, if you go to the schools, even casual observers, like I've taken special interest, you'll find that there's been a lot of renovation of building classroom blocks and the building of new ones. You know, these buildings have been so much dilapidated. There were some of them that were inherited from the colonial period, from the missionaries and so on. But if you go there, you'll find that there have been a lot of renovation, new classroom blocks have been built, and so on and so forth.
Quite a number of them. We have the computer workshop, fully equipped, the library, the hall renovated by him, materials for the blind students coming regularly, and some intro-tech equipment. Many of them are there for use for the students. The idea is that after the junior secondary school, some of them should be able to stand on their own and establish.
I'm happy to have a computer library or workshop in my school because it helps us to becoming computer literate, and I appreciate it, and it's good to know about the past of computer and the workings of computer.
All the need to kick off by training and the training of these teachers to step up their level of competence in handling these children in the class, knowing the challenges of the profession, to be abreast, more so with the very fast growing technology. This we have been doing, and graciously enough, we've been having maximum cooperation from His Excellency, Chief Dr. T.A. who is education friendly. He has been pumping billions of naira in workshops, seminars, conferences to really train and retrain these teachers, to equip them what it takes to be very, very functional in discharging their duties, to give us sustainable quality, in education. Now, he did not stop at that. He has given us quite a number, too many of the vehicles, utility vehicles, massively, equipping virtually all the local governments, giving vehicles for massive supervision and monitoring of the students in the field there. And again, what about the, when everybody's not talking about technology advancement, science, to promote science, subjects in the school, he has gone to construct more of the libraries, the existing ones, adequately renovated and equipped to expose our children to the knowledge of science, the practical aspect of it. Then computer sets. We now have computers all over. This is why we're now insisting that our teachers must be computer literate by introducing programs, in the ICT to better equip them for functioning. And they go about the materials, books, textbooks, and there are thousands he has been distributing. And again, the furniture too, he has been doing great. Tables, chairs, all what it takes to make the child comfortable in the class. He has been massively supplying us with all this.
One thing I must say as a form of introduction is that, generally speaking, I would think that before now, the governor had adopted the attitude of not blowing his top trumpet. Because looking around, you can see, if you go to the schools, you can see that there have been a lot of noticeable, considerable improvement in the area of infrastructure, in the area of capacity building, staff development, in the area of furniture, teaching aids, and so on. Again, you find that there's a saying in education that no school system can rise above the quality of the teachers who operate that system. No teacher can teach above their SIDS qualification. If you are not very well qualified, you have NCE, you can't teach beyond the equipment given to you at the NCE level. If you have a BA or BSc or first degree or second degree, you can't take beyond that. So it is very, very important that in order to have some good quality education, your teachers must be properly motivated. Their morale must be very high. And when their morale is high, when they are committed, then they do give their best. And in that area, I will say, without fear of contradiction, that His Excellency has not neglected the teachers. For instance, I'm aware, for instance, I took at the new salary structure for teachers, which have been so controversial throughout the country. Some state government have been arguing with their teachers. Some teachers, perhaps in the southwest and some other parts of the country, had to go on strike on account of the refusal of their government to implement this new salary scale for teachers. But here in Abia State, we are aware that that has been implemented, and that will go a long way in motivating the teachers. I'm also aware that in the area of staff training of teachers, in-service training for teachers, that the government had done so much. And I'm aware from the statistics available to me that between 2007 and 2000 and to date, over 30,000 teachers in Abia State had undergone one form of training or the other.
We have a place for the handicapped. You have different schools. You have this one in Afara that is for the handicapped people. And the religious organizations also are helping us, establishing schools for handicapped people. So we have different schools here that are meant for the handicapped children. And they are doing very, very well. Government is subventing them also and taking care of them. And you'll not be surprised that the handicapped people are even doing very well. One of the handicapped people, Ali Gwekwoso, won a silver medal in the Commonwealth Games. He's a handicapped person. So if we don't give that encouragement, he cannot make it. So we know that we have such category of people in our society. It is incumbent on government to take care of them, and that we are doing.
But right now, it has changed considerably to a greater extent. That most of the writing materials, like the Braille machine, like this one, we have them. We have the boards, the slates, mobility canes, the Braille papers, we now have them. And again, the buildings. This one we are staying now, not up to 6 months, it was fixed. Initially, all the structures here were of wooden structures. But I thank God, that time it was horrible. But I thank God that since Ochendo came in, all the structures have been changed. We are happy that the present governor, Chief T.A.O.J. is the governor, and he has been doing a lot, and his wife too. The wife comes here personally to bring food items and them to the school. She's our mommy, so we thank God for them.
To sustain this tempo, what are Governor T.A.O.J's expectations from government and private education stakeholders and operators? Again, what other legacies in education would the governor desire to bequeath to Abians at the end of his tenure in 2015?
To the highest level, not half measures, because Abia State is known for education. We have intelligent people, so I want to take education to the highest level, and that is why government is doing everything possible to make sure that the standard of education is improved, providing everything that is within the capacity of government to do. We are doing that. So it is our aim to maintain, sustain education and take it to the highest level. And it is not for government alone. Other people also have to participate. Those who are in the industry have to be sincere and have this at the back of their mind to produce the best students you can think of in Abia State. Students that you'll be proud of. Students that can represent us very well. Not necessarily making money only. No. It is not in education. You don't come to make money. You come to train future leaders. In terms of discipline, in terms of moral, in terms of intellectual capacity, and every other thing. So that is what I would plead with all those who are in that sector, to have in mind, to put in their best, without fear or favor, to be compassionate with these kids, and to instill discipline to make sure that all of us corporately will take education to the next level. Well, my advice to the students and pupils is for them to be diligent and to be hardworking. Because if you are hardworking, there's always a reward for hard work. If you are hardworking, you will reap the seeds. You will reap the reward of hard work later in your life. But if you are not hardworking, if you are lazy, if you are lackadaisical about things, well, I'm sure the person must be making a serious mistake which he will regret in future. So my advice to the students is to make sure that they utilize and maximize this opportunity in life which God and the parents and government have given them to improve themselves educationally. How do you do? You have to be disciplined, you have to be hardworking, and you have to subordinate to those in positions of authority. So if they do that, I think the coast is clear for them.
Obviously, Governor T.A. Orji has given the education sector in Abia State the pride of place. What is needed is for all to cooperate with the Ochendo administration to sustain qualitative and affordable education at all levels for the present and future generations of Abians to lead in all spheres of education in Nigeria and beyond. To God be the glory.